All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So we're gonna try. Everybody always makes me do that more than once. Let's act like we in the church for a second. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Paul Thompson. It is my pleasure to serve as Director of Constituent Services and Community Partnerships for County Executive Ball. I want to start off this evening, first of all, by just welcoming you all. I'm thankful for your presence. I'm thankful for your service. I'm thankful for your leadership. I want to recognize our elected officials that are in the room. Can we just start with, from the Howard County Council, Ms. Christiana Rigby? And representing the Comptroller's Office, Ms. Deli Okafor. Are there any other elected officials that I may have missed, or anybody that is representing an elected office? Hello. Absolutely, absolutely. Representing Delegate Feldmark's office. Thank you so much. And so when you think about like constituent services and community partnerships, right? For a second, I just want to focus on the word service, right? Like what does that mean? I'm proud to be a part of this work. I'm proud to be a part of people who are willing to do this work. One of the things that I always admire about County Executive Ball is when he first called me up to do this job, he said, you know, I want you to come up and help me serve people, right? And I think that, you know, when we're all here dedicated to and representing service of the people, right? What does that mean? A lot of times you're going to do stuff without getting a thank you, right? Like a lot of times it's going to be late hours, coach, and answering phone calls late in the evening. It's going to be a lot of problems that you're not going to be able to solve. And it hurts sometimes to be somebody who is in the service of people, and you speak to that person on the other end of the phone who is laying their head on concrete, and you go to bed in a warm atmosphere, right? It's hard to be of service. So why do you do it, right? It can't be because of the thank you, because you may never get them, right? You do this work because somewhere deep inside you, you think that you can leave the world a little bit better than it was when you got here. Right, you believe that you can make a difference. You believe that the journey, right, sometimes is worth the destination. And so I really just want to take a second before we get into the program to just thank you all for the work that you all have done, for the work that you continue to do, and for the service that you continue to provide. Thankful for the young people showing up this evening, and thank you for just being a part of this conversation. And you'll hear more about that coming on. But I think as we get into the program, because the worst thing you can do is hand a preacher a microphone, I'm going to get out of the way. And I'm going to bring up our first speaker. It's my pleasure to have served with this young lady over the course of years. And she has served as chair. She has served diligently as chair of this council. Dr. Angela Williams, who is the Executive Director of Title III programs at Coppin State University, as well as president of the Iota Lambda Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Dr. Angela Williams, please.
Good evening again. Good evening. I am again Dr. Angela L. Williams, and I am the proud president of Iota Lambda Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. It has been an honor to serve as co-chairman of the Youth Engagement Strategies YES Council, and I am grateful for the opportunity to contribute to this work alongside youth leaders, community partners, and county agencies committed to strengthening outcomes for young people across Howard County. The YES Council was established through executive order by Dr. Calvin Ball, County Executive, to align and strengthen the county's approach to youth engagement, prevention, and wellness. With nearly 1/3 of Howard County residents under the age of 25, the effectiveness of our youth-serving systems is directly tied to the county's long-term public safety, economic stability, and overall well-being. Throughout 2025, the YES Council convened cross-sector stakeholders to examine existing programs, analyze disaggregated data, and assess system-level gaps. What became clear is that many of our current responses to youth challenges remain reactive, fragmented, and disproportionately punitive. The data shows significant racial disparities in academic outcomes, chronic absenteeism, and school discipline. These outcomes are not the result of individual failure, but of policy choices and system design. As co-chairman, I witnessed the importance of shifting from isolated interventions to coordinated, prevention-centered framework. The YES Council grounded its recommendations in restorative justice principles that emphasize accountability, healing, and community connection. National models in Oakland and Chicago demonstrate that when restorative approaches are institutionalized with policy alignment, sustained funding, and cross-agency coordination, communities see a measurable reduction in suspension, arrest, and youth violence. These models also make it clear that success depends on consistent executive leadership and legislative commitment. Our final report is not intended to be aspirational alone. It is a strategic roadmap for system change. It calls for aligning investment with need, embedding restorative practices across departments, strengthening accountability for publicly funded programs, and elevating community and youth voices in decision-making. We offer this work as a commitment to long-term system change, not for short-term recognition, but for generational impact. While outcomes may not be immediately visible, evidence and experience shows that when young people are valued, supported, and connected, communities become safer, healthier, and more resilient. Again, it has been my honor to serve as the co-chairman of the YES Council. The responsibility now before us is implementation. Implementation through policy, budgetary alignment, and sustained cross-sector leadership. Thank you again for your continued commitment to the future of Howard County. It's been my pleasure to serve.
Thank you so much, Dr. Williams. Our next speaker for the evening, what's interesting when you bring a bunch of people together and you have some people to have this part of the puzzle and that part of the puzzle, and you bring people together to try to maneuver things, you have a lot of spirited conversations, but it's all, what I love about spirited conversations is when it's all in pursuit of the final goal. And that's what I'm proud of this council for doing, coming together as a bunch of people to operate as a unit to work towards a common goal. And this next person that will speak tonight was one of those key voices. So I'm happy to introduce tonight Ms. Erica Chavarria, who is the Executive Director of Columbia Community Care.
Good evening. My name is Erica Chavarria. I'm a former educator of 13 years and founder and executive director of Columbia Community Care. I am honored to have had the opportunity to contribute to this work and to share a few remarks this evening. This report exists because too many of our young people have been forced to survive systems that were never designed to protect them. It is the result of many months of listening, rigorous data analysis, and courageous truth-telling by youth leaders, mentors, educators, service providers, faith leaders, and community members who refuse to accept reactionary responses as a strategy. Before going further, it's important to name our gratitude. I want to extend my sincere thanks to County Executive Calvin Ball, whose vision and commitment to our young people were demonstrated through the executive order that created the YES Council in the first place. This report was made possible by the people who showed up consistently, asked hard questions, and stayed committed even when the work was uncomfortable. We are deeply thankful to every YES Council member and partner who contributed their time, expertise, and lived experience to ensure this work reflects truth and care, not convenience. A special thanks particularly to Kim Eisenreich and Corey Jones, who spent hours upon hours writing, gathering input, and helping to finalize the report. And I want to offer a special thank you to Paul Thompson, who wears his heart on his sleeve and whose deep, unwavering commitment to people, dignity, and justice is felt in every part of this work. His leadership reminded us that policy must always be rooted in humanity. Most importantly, we must center our deepest gratitude on our brilliant, powerful young people. Many have faced unimaginable pain and trauma, yet they continue to persevere every single day. With immense bravery, they have stepped forward to share their stories and lived experience, laying bare the truths of their lives to help build us something better. They have expressed their needs with absolute clarity, and we owe it to them to listen. We cannot and must not let them down. What grounds this work is simple and uncompromising. Our young people are not broken. The systems responding to them are. This report centers the lived experiences of young people and makes clear what the data confirms. Punitive, after-the-fact interventions do not create safety. They create harm. And continuing to respond only after crisis hits is costing our young people their futures and, in too many cases, their lives. Young people have made their needs clear to us time and time again. The real question we face is whether we will truly listen or continue repeating the same mistakes only to be shocked and dismayed when harm follows. Our commitment as educators, mentors, caretakers, advocates, communities, and leaders is collective and unwavering. We know what is possible when communities and leaders show up early, when prevention is funded, and when healing is prioritized over punishment. Prevention is not idealistic, it's evidence-based. Restorative justice is rooted in our responsibility to care for one another, especially when systems fail to do so. And care is not a weakness, it is a policy choice. This report provides a tangible path towards transformative justice, ensuring that our efforts do not inadvertently contribute to or perpetuate the cycle of mass incarceration. This is a moral imperative in our state, where Maryland currently ranks second in the nation for incarceration of Black men and second for charging and incarcerating our young people in adult prisons without access to mental health and supportive services they deserve. This report must not be treated as a feel-good document. It cannot be tucked away in a desk after today or used to justify yet another task force to analyze data we already know. It is a roadmap. It calls for sustained investment, cross-system accountability, and policy alignment that centers youth wellness instead of optics. It demands that we stop relying on emergency responses and start building systems that prevent harm before it happens. We cannot continue to be reactionary when the literal lives of our young people are at stake. This moment requires courage. It requires moving resources, changing policies, and trusting communities, especially those most impacted, to lead. Our young people deserve more than promises, pilots, and press releases. They deserve a community willing to act with urgency, integrity, and love. We stand behind this work because we believe every young person's life is worth protecting, and we are committed to doing the work, not later, not incrementally, but now. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. I think the next person that we're going to hear from this evening is someone I've been proud to get to know over this time. Is always, when you're going into battle, when you're going into hard work, you want somebody that you know is going to stand in the trenches with you. And I think that this gentleman coming up right now has proven that over time. And I'm proud to know you, sir. And so please welcome Coach Tagana Duncan, who is the Executive Director of Stepping Towards a New Destiny.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, County Executive Ball. Good evening to all of the council people, everyone from the local children's board, everyone that has other nonprofits from the sheriff department. Good evening to everybody. It's a little tough to stand here because last week I sat in the courtroom of a situation of a trial that actually brought us to this point. And I became very emotional over the whole situation, and I had a board meeting, and I said to them, I said, listen, y'all got to pray because these situations become very emotional when you're dealing with this day in and day out. What brought us here, we all know why. When it comes to the work that we do, everyone always asks for statistics. Well, I'm going to give you all some statistics. Howard County has about 55,000 students enrolled in all of their public schools. There's about 80,000 young people under the age of 18. That makes up 24% of the population. Even though the young people under 18 makes up 24% of the population, they're 100% of our future. 100% of our future. I remember being in elementary and in middle school, and all of the plan that they talked about was investing into your future. But they were actually talking about when you go to college and what you're going to be when you become an adult. Our future is our young people. Our young people that cannot afford to pay $1,200 to play on a basketball team. Or when they come back to school, you ask them what did they do for the summer, and they said they was just in their neighborhood because their families couldn't afford vacations. Or they're looking for jobs and they cannot find jobs because they don't have the skills. That's the 24% that we're talking about. I'm grateful for the opportunity to stand here, but it also always breaks heart because of why we got to this point. I hope moving forward that we can look at our young people and see them as our future, but also our present. Let them know that they are loved. Let them know that they're important to us. Let them know that they are heard. Everyone that is standing here, I thank you for all of the time that y'all have volunteered in the community with our young people in the schools and all that y'all are doing. Dr. Ball, thank you very much for the investment that you have made in stepping towards a new destiny. We really appreciate you. Luke, Erica Chavaria, Kim from the local children's board, thank you all so much for all that y'all have done. I look forward to, again, like Erica said, this report not just being something on a piece of paper, but it actually action items comes out of this. Thank you. Thank you for all your work. Appreciate you.
Coach, we thank you. Stepping towards a new destiny, we thank you. Our young people, we thank you for being here. And now I think because we're at that point, I think that it's time for, when we talk about service, to introduce the person who I'm proud to serve alongside, a person who didn't really just hide in the bushes, but said, hey, listen, let's get some people together that can actually get some results, who convened us by executive order, and who walks the talk. And so I'm proud to serve alongside this man. I'm proud to be his Director of Constituent Services. Y'all please welcome Dr. Calvin Ball, Howard County Executive.
Thank you so much, Paul, and good evening, everyone. How come everybody else got a good evening except for me? In December of 2018, when I first became your Howard County Executive, I could not have imagined the challenges that we would collectively face that would test the strength and the values of our community. In that time, we endured many monuments of uncertainty and hardship that shaped not only how we govern, but how we care for one another. Nationally, we lived through multiple school shootings and increased gun violence, crisis-level youth suicide, and a global pandemic that disrupted childhood, separated students from classrooms, and left so many families navigating anxiety, loss, and isolation. We watched as national divisions deepened and continued to deepen through multiple federal government shutdowns, as economic pressures mounted, and as too many of our young people across our country struggle to find stability, belonging, and support. However, through it all, we witnessed the resilience of our young people here in Howard County. Even in Howard County, a place where we transform obstacles into opportunities. We know that not every young person experiences that opportunity equally. In recent years, locally, we have seen the warning signs that communities across our nation are confronting. Young people in crisis, escalating conflict, unaddressed trauma, and too many systems responding after the harm has occurred. When one of our young people reaches the justice system, it is often the result of unmet needs, unhealed trauma, and missed intervention chances. We are, however, a community that is meeting this moment and rising to the challenge. We said yes to acting with prevention, yes to restoration, and yes to building the support that our young people need. And while we acknowledge the struggles our young people are facing, we must concurrently recognize the incredible potential of our young people. From our students to our young professionals, they are vibrant, talented, and full of boundless potential. As leaders, educators, and community members, it is our responsibility, our duty, our opportunity to ensure that they have every opportunity to succeed academically, socially, emotionally, and mentally. In March, we gathered right here in this room and we took the charge of the African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We knew that we needed to go far to accomplish these goals together. We all came together to say yes. Yes to identifying and aligning resources across Howard County that support mentorship, mental health, workforce development, restorative justice, and safe spaces. Yes to finding community-based strategies to prevent youth violence and increase engagement. Yes to establishing collaborations between Howard County government, community organizations, and public institutions. During the last year, the Yes Council members built a roadmap. They elevated the voice of our young people, and they grounded their work in both Howard County data and national best practices. Through their work, the Yes Council reminded us of something critical. The true cost of inaction is not measured in dollars, but it's measured in futures. As a result, the Yes Council put forward a clear, thoughtful list of recommendations, including ongoing professional learning for county staff to encourage nonviolent communication and community building, encouraging a culture of innovation where county agencies and partners are empowered to try new approaches without fear of failure. Establishing standards and accountability measures for all youth-serving organizations receiving funds from the county. Hosting more youth-led events that center their voice, giving voice to our young people. Leadership and creativity in shaping community priorities. Conducting an analysis of all youth-serving institutions and organizations within the county to assess community needs and ensure recommended training aligns with their identified priorities. Identifying opportunities for alignment and expansion of free programs, healing opportunities, education and outreach, and advocacy with county offices and departments, including but not limited to the Department of Community Resources and Services, the Department of Recreation and Parks, Office of Human Rights and Equity, and the Office of Workforce Development. Reviewing national models for youth violence prevention and intervention, such as those in Los Angeles, and Oakland, California, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. And expanding youth representation within council and across county boards and commissions. More importantly, this is not just a plan on paper. We are already putting some of these ideas into action. When we launched YES earlier this year, we also provided additional resources to trauma-informed programs to better support our young people. With additional investment in the STAND mentorship program and PUSH program through our YEP grants, STAND and PUSH have collectively supported approximately 150 of our young people just during the last year. It's 150 futures, 150 lights that will shine a little bit brighter. Thank you, Coach, and thank you, team. In partnership with STAND, we supported the daily United We Stand summer program that engaged our at-risk and underserved young people for nearly 8 weeks. And at the end of the program, approximately 92% of participants reported noticeable improvement in their ability to manage emotions, resolve conflicts, and work cooperatively with others. We're also investing in accessible transportation solutions for our young people. Every young person in Howard County can ride the RTA and HOCO Rapid Ride for free, now opening key pathways to education, employment, recreation, and other daily necessities for those who may not have access to a car. And since we launched our digital bus pass program in September of 2023, approximately 500 of our public school system and community college students have used free digital student bus passes through RTA. And because of this initiative, last school year we saw more than 3,500 free rides taken by our school system and community college students. And just weeks ago, I announced the Landlord Accountability, Investment in Quality, Victim Protection, and Eviction Prevention, or LIVE initiative to address and reduce landlord-tenant issues. My executive order addresses habitability concerns experienced by tenants, and we are ensuring that we have strong tenant rights, which is important for young adults and family stability. And finally, we know that our young people are seeking safe and supportive places where they are free to just be themselves and hang out with friends. We're working with the community partners to deliver more of those spaces, and in partnership with the Boys and Girls Clubs, we now have 3 club locations across Howard County that serve collectively approximately 350 of our young people just last year, including a transformational club at Howard Community College. And with our partners at Columbia Concepts, we have invested critical dollars to re-envisioning and reimagining the site of the former Columbia Flyer building into The Source. Once complete, The Source will be a 65,000 square foot community hub that offers vital services for our county's young people. The space will include literacy programs, a food pantry, video game rooms, and a recording studio, creating safe spaces for youth to learn and to relax, to explore, and just be their authentic selves. We know that these actions are essential to creating an environment where young people can truly not just survive, but thrive. That is what progress looks like. That is what partnership makes possible, and that is what saying yes truly means. By implementing these recommendations, Howard County is positioning itself to lead in this moment for generations to come. The future of Howard County does not begin tomorrow. It is shaped right now. The choices we make, the systems we build, and the courage to act now before more harm occurs impacts the world we are creating for current and future generations. We can no longer wait for our young people to fall into crisis. We can and we must invest earlier in mentorship, mental health, opportunity, and belonging. The Yes Council, led by the remarkable chairs Dr. Angela Williams and my good brother Bruce Nelson, you all have given us a roadmap. A roadmap that is built on data, lived experiences, and the voices of our young people themselves. I want to thank you for your service, as Paul noted, but I want to thank you for your love. I want to thank you for making sure that our young people know that they are seen, they are heard, and they are valued. I want to personally and publicly thank Paul Thompson and Luke Verdi for their hard work. They're the ones in my office who I hold accountable to make sure y'all get what y'all need. So thank you, gentlemen. Please give them a huge round of applause. And now comes the next and most important part, implementation. Transformational leadership is measured not by the plans that we announce or how many press releases we send. It's measured by the lives that we change, the futures we protect, and the hope that we restore. Today and every day moving forward, we will say yes to prevention, yes to restoration, yes to community, and yes to the belief that when we show up for our young people, they will rise. Together, we will continue to meet the magic of this moment before it becomes a memory. Together, we will help save lives, save our future, and save the world. God bless you and thank you.
So those are the remarks. Thank you all. Those are the remarks, right? But I want to thank you all again, as the county executive said, for your work. Listen, y'all live this. This is day in and day out. You know, a lot of you all are leaving here and you're not going home. You know, you're going to serve again. And so I didn't get a chance to do it. I'm so glad that the county executive did it. Hey, I just want to shout out Luke Verdi. Luke, you went on this ride. We went on this ride together, and it's not over. And so I appreciate your service and all the work you did behind the scenes to make things happen. Again, service don't stop, y'all. And we didn't get it. We got in this for one reason, right? And that's to make somebody else's lives better. And so I encourage us all to continue that work. Tiara, good to see you. If we could get some, how about this? We'll end here. If we all could come up for just 1 second, as many of you as are comfortable, come up here 1 second, please. We'll grab a photo and then we'll talk about what happens next.